Imagine the most important dinner of your life. Now imagine it in the worst place on the planet. Today, we tell the story of a man who did just that. He assembled a feast of chicken wings and cinnamon rolls and ate it in a Walmart restroom. But this isn't a story about hunger. It's a story about what happens when a person decides to hit the self-destruct button in front of everyone. It's like a death row inmate's last meal, only here, the man is his own judge and executioner, his feast. It's not just food. It's a performance, a public declaration of his own downfall. A typical Walmart, bright, sterile light, endless aisles of products, the hum of refrigerators. It is an orderly, normal universe. And now, in its most unseemly corner, chaos is about to begin. The average Walmart supercenter stocks over 140,000 items under one roof. All are illuminated with an intensity of 700 to 800 lux, ensuring nothing escapes your gaze. This isn't just a store, it's a cathedral of consumption, a perfectly tuned machine. And in this machine, the most illogical glitch is about to occur. It remains unclear if he had a plan or if it was a pure impulse of desperation. What made him choose this specific menu? And the main question, did he want to eat his fill or did he want to get caught? Was he a chess player executing a mad gambit where his only move was to be captured? Or was he just an autumn leaf caught in the wind of his own despair? He doesn't just wander through the store. He stops at the hot food display. His hand reaches for a container of chicken wings. This is the point of no return. He isn't just taking food, he's making a decision. This is the beginning of the ritual. This moment is like a diver pausing at the edge of the high board. Below lies the cold, unknown water of consequences. But the decision has been made. The step has been taken. This isn't theft of food. It's a leap into the abyss with a chicken wing in hand. Cinnamon rolls and alcohol are added to the wings. This isn't a random assortment. It's a perfect storm of calories and emotions. Greasy, hot food provides a direct shot of dopamine to the pleasure center. The sweet rolls offer a wave of serotonin, a chemical comfort. And the alcohol is the crudest way to shut down the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for anxiety and shame. He isn't just eating. He's conducting a crude, intuitive session of psychopharmacology. He has assembled a makeshift antidepressant. Now he needs a sanctuary. And he finds the most illogical yet, at the same time, the only possible one. The restroom. It's the only place in this transparent world with a lock. It's a space of absolute, albeit illusory, privacy. His entry is not a physiological necessity. It's a retreat into the last fortress. In a state of extreme stress, our brain seeks small, enclosed, cave-like spaces. It's an ancient instinct for safety. And a bathroom stall is the most accessible cave in the 21st century. He isn't hiding. He's obeying a command that is hundreds of thousands of years old. Pause this video for a moment and recall the strangest thing you've ever eaten out of stress. Cold pizza over the sink at 3 in the morning. A sandwich made from whatever leftovers were in the fridge. Each of us has our own small, shameful feast. According to the American Psychological Association, nearly 40% of adults stress eat. The Japanese have a word, kuchisabishi, which means lonely mouth, the desire to chew something not from hunger, but from sadness. This man had the loneliest mouth on the planet. The click of the lock. It's the sound of the drawbridge being raised on his personal fortress. He has walled himself off from the world. He lays out his feast, perhaps on the toilet tank. For a few minutes, this cold, tiled box becomes his private restaurant. The irony is that the very design of the stall, with its large gaps at the top and bottom, is an element of hostile architecture. It's created specifically so no one can find solitude for long. He found refuge in a place designed specifically not to be a sanctuary. He takes the first bite. For one moment, all his problems, the entire world, all of Walmart ceases to exist. There is only the taste of hot chicken, the sweetness of cinnamon, a pure, animalistic satisfaction. This first bite is like the first drop of rain in a parched desert. For an instant, there is nothing but this feeling of life and moisture. The vast, merciless desert of his problems disappears. He has reached his oasis, an illusory and temporary one. But this oasis was built on a fault line, and an earthquake has just begun. Someone jiggles the handle of his stall, a sharp metallic sound. To the outside world, it's a common, everyday annoyance. For him, it's the knock on a bunker door in the middle of a nuclear war. He freezes. It's like a sonar ping that has just detected a submarine running silent. A single sound has shattered the entire illusion of invisibility. His operation to disappear has just failed. He made a fatal error. He didn't account for the acoustics. In the complete silence of a public restroom, sounds carry perfectly. The crunch of bones, the sound of chewing, the quiet hiss of a can being opened. He thought he was in a soundproof studio. In reality, he was sitting on a stage with a live microphone. The tile walls and floor acted as perfect resonators, amplifying every sound and broadcasting it to the random spectator outside the door. These were not the sounds one expects to hear from a stall. They were the sounds of a feast. A message comes over the security guard's radio. "Sir, we have a strange situation in the men's restroom." Initial skepticism gives way to curiosity. He looks at the monitors. A man goes in, but it's not clear what he's carrying. In security terms, this is a pattern disruption. People go into the restroom and come out. That's the pattern. A man goes in, doesn't come out, and the sounds of a picnic emerge from behind the door. This is an anomaly. The guard instantly transforms from an observer into an antibody, moving toward the source of infection in the store's sterile body. A knock on the door. "Sir, is everything okay in there?" In response, silence, and then another quiet crunch. The guard knocks again, more insistently this time. He realizes the situation is not normal and calls the police, not because of the theft, but because of the total unpredictability. An interesting fact, from a legal standpoint, a person in a locked stall has a reasonable expectation of privacy. Police can't just break down the door. But refusing to answer and the strange sounds create what lawyers call exigent circumstances, which grant the right to intervene. His silence became the legal justification for the end of his solitude. And now they are here. 2 officers. Their routine gait and bored expressions starkly contrast with the absurdity of the call. They enter the restroom, and the air instantly thickens. This is no longer a sanctuary. It's a crime scene. Their arrival is like the house lights suddenly coming on in the middle of a movie. The magic vanishes. The cozy, dark theater turns into an ordinary room with a dirty floor and sticky seats. Their uniforms and radios are the harsh light of reality that has shattered his private screening. "Sir, this is the police. Open the door." To him, this voice isn't just a sound. It's the sound of cracking ice beneath his feet, the sound that finally shatters his illusory world. He has a second to choose, surrender or play the game to the end. He chooses the latter. He brings another wing to his mouth and takes a bite. This last bite is his personal Titanic moment. He is the captain of a sinking ship, deciding to take one last sip of whiskey as water floods the bridge. It is a completely meaningless, but, in its own way, a majestic act of accepting the inevitable on his own terms. The door gives way. For a moment, everything freezes. What the police saw was like a strange, tragic Renaissance still life titled The Beggar's Feast. A man sits on the toilet, surrounded by gnawed bones, cinnamon roll crumbs, and an empty bottle. The harsh fluorescent light falls on his face, smeared with barbecue sauce, like the light in a Caravaggio painting. He looks at them without surprise, almost with relief. It is a moment of absolute absurdity, frozen in time. Imagine a scale of criminal absurdity. At one end you have Ocean's 11-level genius, at the other, a total failure. This case falls somewhere near the Walmart bathroom feast mark. It's a crime so poorly planned it makes you wonder if the goal was ever to go unnoticed. In criminology, there is the concept of an expressive crime, where the act itself is more important than the outcome. If a bank robbery is an instrumental crime with the goal of getting money, then this feast was purely expressive. He wasn't trying to get something. He was trying to say something, and this is what he said. His act is a perfect illustration of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but in reverse. When the higher levels, self-esteem, love, belonging, collapse, a person regresses to the very bottom. He was trying to satisfy his basic needs in the crudest way possible, food and safety, the sanctuary of a stall. He did it because everything else in his life was already destroyed. A person at such a low point cannot simply ask for help. Instead, they commit a maximally public and bizarre act of self-destruction to be noticed. His goal wasn't the food. His goal was the arrest. Jail means a roof over his head, regular meals, and an end to unbearable uncertainty. In slang, this is called a 3 hots and a cot crime, when prison seems like a better option than freedom. He didn't just steal food, he launched a flare. His flare was just greasy, sticky, and smelled like chicken. There is a second, deeper version. His brain created a temporary safe bubble. Inside that bathroom stall, the laws of the real world didn't apply. He wasn't thinking about the consequences because, for him, in that moment, they didn't exist. It was an act of pure escapism, a mental flight that was brutally interrupted. This has a clinical name, dissociation. It's a defense mechanism of the psyche where a person disconnects from an unbearable reality. His brain built a fortress. The physical walls were the stall's walls, but the main impenetrable walls were in his head. The police weren't breaking down a door, they were breaking down his psychological defense. Which theory seems more plausible to you? A cry for help or a bubble of dissociation? Perhaps you've noticed yourself creating your own little bubbles in moments of stress, mindlessly scrolling on your phone, getting lost in video games, pointless shopping. These are all our socially acceptable versions of the bathroom feast. The average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media. Over a lifetime, that adds up to 5 years and 7 months. We all regularly retreat into our digital bathroom stalls to escape reality. His method was just more analog and smelled like barbecue sauce. Most likely, both theories are correct. This is a tragedy disguised as a joke. Physical hunger was the catalyst, but the form it took was dictated by emotional hunger, a need for attention, safety, and an escape from an unbearable reality. It was a perfect chemical reaction. Physical hunger was one reactant, despair was the other, and the sterile, soulless atmosphere of the hypermarket became the perfect catalyst that triggered this explosion of absurdity. This isn't just a story. It's a formula for desperation. In the end, he was charged with petty theft for an amount of $22. The justice system acted like a surgeon who perfectly removed a splinter while completely ignoring the gangrene that caused it. He was given a fine for the chicken wings, but not a prescription for the life that led to them. His story is over. But for us, it's just beginning. From it, we can draw 3 lessons for survival in the modern world. First, absurd behavior is a signal. When you see someone, or yourself, starting to do strange illogical things, it's not a reason to laugh. It's the check engine light on a person's dashboard. You can laugh at the light, or you can stop and check the engine. Second, safe bubbles are a dangerous illusion. Escaping reality through food, alcohol, or a bathroom stall provides only temporary relief while making the problem worse. These bubbles work like a credit card. You get pleasure now, but the bill that comes later is much larger, and with massive interest. Third, a public breakdown is not a weakness, but a symptom. A person who has reached this state needs help, not judgment. Criticizing them is like screaming at a drowning person to swim better. This bathroom feast is not just a funny news headline. It's an extreme manifestation of loneliness in a society of abundance. Economists Ann Case and Angus Deaton coined the term deaths of despair to describe the rise in mortality from suicides and overdoses. This feast is a non-lethal symptom of the same disease. This isn't a joke. It's an alarm bell ringing from the very heart of consumer society. Now that you know the whole story, the question comes down to this. Did his car simply run out of gas, which represents hunger? Or did the driver intentionally steer it into a wall, which represents despair? Write just one word in the comments with your diagnosis for this strange crash: hunger or despair. Let's see which one gets more votes.